Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of the Short Story, Storyshort podcast. Thank you to all those that were able to listen to the first one, shared it, commented, liked it, reached out and gave me feedback, etc. It means a lot, and that's the only way that this show will get better and bigger, as if I do my duties as host, get better as a host, and we have the right type of guests on and we cover the right type of topics. So again, I really appreciate all the feedback that I've received so far. I just wanted to share a quick story on the reason for the name of the podcast, just to give some context to why it's called what it is. And no, I will not be starting off every single podcast with a long monologue. I just felt like in this particular case, it was good to share. So when my dad and I started this company back in it was 4 years ago, in February 2nd, I believe. And, we were doing short documentary format films at the time. And so my dad said, well, we're telling your story and they're going to be on the shorter side. So instead of calling it Short Story, let's call it Storyshort. And we got a logo made up and we liked it. And it just was kind of catchy, I guess. And we went with it. Well, it didn't seem like a tongue twister at the time, but as we went on, more and more people called it Short Story Films. And then we actually found out that we started calling it that as well. So now that I'm no longer Storyshort Films, I thought it was a great way for me to kind of keep that joke that my dad and I had, keep the name around, and just kind of, I guess for nostalgic reasons, just kind of still have it. So that's the reason for that. And speaking of my dad, for those that know, my dad passed away last year, March 5th of 2018 from cancer. And, every episode I do, every video I make, everything I do with this business going forward is all in dedication to him, because without him, none of this would be possible. So thank you, Dad, and thank you for all that have listened and will be on this journey with me going forward. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my next guest. Shayna Ronen is the co-founder of the I Can Do That Theater Company, along with her best friend, Jarusha Ariel. In addition, she is the executive director of the Belasco Theater Company. Big thank you to Shayna for being on the show, and let's get it started. How you doing, Shayna?
Hey, Barrett.
How's 2019 treating you?
It's been good. It's been good. Yeah, we just did all of our projections and looking forward to this year, and it's going to be an exciting year.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, and you're talking about the I Can Do That Theater Company, correct?
I am.
Cool.
I am. Yeah.
So, real quick, when's the next show and where is it at and all that?
So we're rehearsing right now for Oliver.
Cool.
Oliver Twist. And it opens February 22nd, I believe. So it's the final weekend in February, first weekend in March.
Cool.
So there are 8 opportunities to see the show, and we'll have about 45 kids on stage.
Very
singing
cool.
and dancing their hearts out.
And what's the average age range for your shows?
I think our youngest is 7.
Okay.
And our oldest in this show, I think, is 16 or 17. But generally, the range is 8 to 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little mix.
It is. It's great because the older ones are a good example for the younger kids. The younger ones watch them and they want to grow up to be like them. And so it's a nice relationship they all get to create together.
Very cool.
Learn from each other. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just have to say, if you don't mind me saying, I've done a couple videos for you, and one of the things that I really love is that the kids really feel at home when they're with you, and Jarusha.
Yeah.
Jarusha Ariel.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Is your
co-founder.
Co-founder, yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys just create a really, safe, fun, open, it's just really a great thing to see, because those kids come and they just have so much just love for the production,
Mm-hmm.
for performing, and they work hard, you guys work hard, so it's just really cool.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, first of all, we love the kids.
Yeah.
So, it makes it easy because we love being around them. We get excited for rehearsals to have them come into the studio. Yeah. But also acting, singing, dancing, mm-hmm. It's all very intimate.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to feel free,
mm-hmm.
you have to create a space that encourages freedom and expression and comfort for you to be you, for you to go out on a limb, for you to mess up or whatever it is and feel accepted to then learn from that and move on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For us, it's the only way to run a theater company.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's what I noticed as well, is that the way that you correct them, it's really, it's fair but firm.
Yeah.
Because you are putting on a show, and
Right.
you know, it's you know, and by the way, the quality of your shows are incredible.
Thank you.
For it just, it's crazy to see what you and your team, you know, what you and Jarusha, and then you have a team of choreographers and other people that kind of come in and help out, right, for certain projects.
We actually don't. It's
okay.
all us. Yeah. So Jarusha and I
Yeah.
are the two that work with the kids.
Yeah.
We have teachers that do our classes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's true. But thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a great quality show. And then, yeah, like I said, the kids just really work hard, and it's a great show. I mean, it's,
Thank you.
we've joked about the Louis C.K. bit, right? Well, not, you know, yeah.
Many bits.
Yeah. But, kind of the joke is that, you know, a lot of times children's theater isn't,
You might want to gouge your eyes out with a spoon or something.
yeah, but
Yeah,
your guys'
I've been
shows
to
are
that.
completely different.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the kids are incredibly talented. They like just work their butts off. They
do.
sing and act their hearts out, and yeah, it's just a great show.
Thank you. Yeah, we really encourage. Well, we make a high bar.
Yeah,
We really do,
Yeah.
and it's because we know that they're capable of it.
yeah,
Right. So I think there's a place for different types of theater, and
Right.
there's a place for different types of children's theater.
yeah,
But we think that they are capable and that they want to learn about what it is to be in a full kind of Broadway musical experience.
Yeah.
Right. And so we hold them to that standard. And it's crazy. We set the bar and they jump over it.
yeah,
They really do. And
Yeah.
the ones that don't, it might not be their thing.
yeah,
But yeah, they love it, and so they work hard, and it's partially we're tough, but we're playful.
yeah,
'Cause
definitely,
we love them, and we know that they can do it. We know that they're learning,
yeah,
you know. But I think that at the end of the process of being in a performance, it's not just I had fun, but they feel super accomplished.
yeah,
They learned so much. They worked so hard.
yeah,
And when they go and see professional productions, they know a lot of what they're doing on stage now wasn't kiddie stuff.
yeah. No, it definitely wasn't.
Thank you.
Yeah. So take us through. I mean, how did you come to find the I Can Do That theater company, and kind of just what was that journey like?
Yeah, so it started really when I was about 9. I joined a theater company called Belasco Theater Company. It was in Walnut Creek. And my parents had put me in soccer and swimming and all this stuff, and it was not my thing at all. And when they put me in theater, I loved it. And I was a ham. I just wanted to make people laugh and was silly, and it was my place. And that's where I met my best friend and co-founder, Jarusha.
Yeah.
So we were in theater together through high school. It was incredibly transformational in our lives. The man, Edward Belasco, who was the director, a lot of how we run I Can Do That is based off of what we learned from him. He held the bar so high, and he loved us like we were his kids. But he pushed us like we were his kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm forever thankful.
Sure.
So I was in that theater company. I also did a couple other shows with other theater companies. I went to New York for school. I ended up going to NYU for cognitive neuroscience.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm interested in other things too.
Yeah.
And I did that, which was fascinating. Jarusha went on and continued studying theater and musical theater. And but there was always this piece of me that was like, if I could do anything and know that I wouldn't fail, it was always to start a company. From when we were 12 years old, that was the dream.
Yeah.
And so I went on to do other things. I sold real estate in New York. I was in insurance. I worked in the audiology field for a while, and I liked what I was doing, but it wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, Edward Belasco passed away. And the week of his passing, Jarusha came over to my house, and she was like, we just need to do it.
Yeah.
We just need to go for it. And I knew that I wouldn't do it without her.
Yeah.
She's my person.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay.
Yeah.
That night we chose the name.
Yeah.
And I Can Do That comes from the musical A Chorus Line. And there's a song called I Can Do That. And it's about how this kid grew up watching his sister dance, and then she couldn't go to dance class. And so he like put the shoes on, and he went, and he could do it too.
Yeah.
Just as good as her, and maybe better.
Yeah.
So, and then we started putting one foot in front of the other, figuring out, where do you start to create a nonprofit? And is there any interest? And now here we are 2.5 years in, and I don't even know how many shows we've done. I should count and know that, but I don't. Maybe like 10.
Yeah.
And it's been a whirlwind, and we're busting out of our seams now as a company. And I can't even explain how much of a dream come true it is.
Yeah. And
so much more fulfilling than I ever could have imagined personally.
No. And yeah, I mean, that's such a great story. And I love that, you're doing it with your best friend, and that it was just like, it was a calling that both of you had, and that you answered it. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that, because it's scary. I mean, it's scary starting a new business, especially a theater company in a town that, this isn't like New York. It's not the city.
Right.
It's not LA. It's, and not to say that the town or other towns don't, care about theater, but it's not like a bustling theater town, if you will. So the fact that you started it here and you're making something out of it, that's really awesome.
And that's actually part of the reason why we brought it here.
Yeah.
Danville is amazing.
Yeah.
We love Danville.
Yeah.
The fact that you can walk around downtown with your puppy.
Yeah.
And, all these great restaurants and cute little bars and cute little shops. There's so much to do, so much in walking distance. All these kids get out of school and they're able to just walk around downtown. It's such a sweet, quaint neighborhood. And they had this theater, the Village Theater. And for us, we were like, we just want to make it fly. We already knew that they were doing a lot of really awesome things. And we just saw it as a great place. There's big theater going on in Walnut Creek. There's big theater going on in like Livermore, Pleasanton area. But in between, it's not as much. And so we saw an interest and a need, and we thought the town would want it.
Cool. Yeah. No, definitely. And what are what were some of the struggles that you've had? I mean, all business will struggle from time to time, and you're never really like, not everything's never perfect,
Yeah.
But what were some struggles that maybe you had early on before things just really kind of took off?
Well, I'd never started a business before. I'd never been a business owner before. So just even figuring out how to put one foot in front of the other to create this was actually more personally challenging than strategically challenging, right? Just getting over the concept of, will this work? Will people show up? Will people buy tickets? You had to first, I had to first believe in myself of what the love that we had and what we wanted to give, to just go for it, unapologetically go for it.
Yeah.
So that was a lot in the beginning. And then, I think some of the struggles that we had were when we were in turning points. So when we did our first show, and maybe we were into starting our second production, we needed space. And it's not common for theater companies to have like your own dedicated space. A lot do, some do, but not all. And I was like, we have to get a studio. We have to have our own space. At the time, I was working out of co-working spaces or at Starbucks, and I'm on a business call and they're grinding coffee and I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, I need my own place. And it was terrifying to make that jump.
Yeah.
Because it kind of brings it to another level. And I think that's where our best wins have been and our best challenges have been when we're noticing, because you're so in the weeds, and then you start to notice we're bigger than what we can handle.
Yeah.
We got to take it up a notch, right?
Good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have, but it's also it's like it's a new way of thinking.
Sure.
So one of the times was we'd been doing our productions. We had an audition. We had 40 spots to fill for the show, and we had 110 kids show up to audition.
Oh, wow.
Well,
another good problem to have.
It is, but it breaks your heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we are in love with these kids.
Yeah.
And we see the potential in each of them to grow.
Yeah.
And we want to work with each of them, but we could accept 40.
Yeah.
Right. And it's heartbreaking for the kids, and it was heartbreaking for the parents, and it's hard for us. And that's where we got to a place where we're like, we have to expand. Yeah. We have to add more productions, right? We can't add more kids to the stage. I'm not going to say, great, we'll take all 110 and it's just going to be a nightmare on stage, right? Sure. So now we're doing more productions, and we added classes. So then you have to learn about how to bring on teachers, how to have employees, and all of those things, And I guess what gets me through is the love. You got to love what you're doing. Yeah. And excited, and the concept that it's going to touch so many more people. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it's great that you have that mindset. It's just like, not like let's make this exclusive. It's like let's make this inclusive, so that we have all these kids that want to be in the production, and unfortunately we can only take 40, so let's make it bigger. Yeah. Let's offer more opportunities for them to, whether it's take classes or it's be in another show, right, or be in the same show but different time slot or whatever that could be. It gives you a lot of options, right? And that's really cool that you took that route, because it's like you have the ability to offer this opportunity to everybody who can do it, right? Who wants to. And who wants to. Yeah. Exactly. What would be some advice that you'd give to a young company, or somebody just starting off a new business, or somebody who is wanting to leave a regular job, if you will, to do something they're passionate about? What would be like just some advice that you'd give?
I think the most important thing is to find your vision and really, be clear about what it is that you want to create, right? I say start from the dream and work backwards, right? So put it out there. Like if money were no, issue or whatever it is, if this is the picture, then how do I back up and how do we walk that path to get there? And then once you have your vision clear, I would say don't be committed to the way to get there, because it's going to change. Yeah. Right. If you're committed to that, this is the way that we get to the vision and we make it happen, it probably won't happen. It might, but there are always things coming in and variables, changing, right? Yeah. It's just the way that it is. And if you're committed to the path, that's so upsetting. Yeah. Because that's the only way that you envisioned your dream coming true. Yeah. But if you're committed to the vision, the path can shift, right? And you can pivot and find new ways to get yourself to the vision. There are going to be 1,000 different ways that you can get there that you wouldn't have thought of when you first made that goal for yourself.
No, and I'm really glad that you said that, because that's hard for a lot of people to do, especially change is scary. I mean, it just is. For a lot of people. Yeah. And it's hard, even when you read all the books and you take all the seminars and you get all the coaching, where it's like you have to accept that that's what's going to happen, and you're like, oh yeah, totally. And then when it finally comes, you're like, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it the other way, because that's the way that's comfortable for me. And so I love that you said that, because that's you do have to kind of roll with the punches, so to speak. And I used to work for Best Buy for a long time, and there were some amazing things that they taught me, and then there's some things that I just didn't like about the company, and part of the reason why I left. But one of the core values was learn from challenge and change. And that company changed a lot. They had to, right? That's why they're still in business.
Right.
For better or for worse, that's why they still are.
Right.
So I love that you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're rigid, you won't make it.
Yeah.
You really won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have been some of the things that you've come up against as you started?
Well, I think it's the same thing. I mean, I believe it or not, I was a personal trainer at some point, and I was running my own business out of a larger gym, because it's typically, and so I started kind of really learning to really fend for myself in that space.
Right.
Best Buy to a degree taught you how to run your own business as well. If you're like in a department and things like that. But for the most part, though, it was really a lot of just having to wear many hats at once, as a lot of people have to do, saying yes to everything. There definitely was a long period of time of off and on over promising and under delivering, which is not good. Right. But it's you have to learn the hard way sometimes not to do that. Right. So I mean, I think some of the same things that, you've experienced, and then some other ones, but yeah. And so what changed for you when, was it a book, or was it books? Was it a coaching or mentorship program? Or did it just kind of came to you in Jarusha, like, we need to do it this way now, or how did that come about? Well,
I'm lucky enough to be the daughter of an entrepreneur. So my father started his own business like 35 years ago. Yeah. And loves it. Yeah. My husband's an entrepreneur. And so I see him creating these startups, and I hear him talking about his world and how he does that, and how, he's got to pivot and work with things, and his ability to be positive and calm and confident is, incredible. And I'm thankful to have someone in my life that they say, like, the 3 people you surround yourself with, you're going to become most like, right? So I'm very thankful that I chose this man, because I notice myself now having those thoughts myself. Yeah. But I read a lot of books. Years ago when I was in real estate, I was reading a lot about owning your own business. I've had some incredible mentors. One is Zay Perrin of the Danville Area Chamber of Commerce. He's like a walking book, right? And very clear. He really took the time with me to understand what it is I want from my business, and no joke, how to get there, right? So I've been very thankful for him and his guidance. There's also a woman named Sylvia High, and she runs a program called Aiming High. And it was centered in Oakland. I believe now it's in Concord, and it's workshops that you can do. It's personal, but it applies to every part of your life. And I have her voice in my head all of the time, helping me take responsibility for my thoughts and my choices, and being positive, and knowing that I have one life to live. And so I'm going to live it in a way that makes me joyful and creates an environment where people can flourish. So yeah, those are some of the people that really changed the course of my life.
So what's something that you wish you could tell your younger self? Could be business, could be personal, just.
I would say, well, there's something that I learned, which is when you're in an MRI machine, as we all normally are.
Yeah, right.
When you're fearful, a certain part of your brain lights up. And when you're excited, they say the same part lights up. So recognizing that something that you feel like like we're not literally going to be eaten by a lion.
Right.
Okay. So when you are in a fear mode about something, maybe we need to reframe it that it's excitement. I
like that.
I'm scared to go on stage, or I'm scared to start this business, right? Or whatever it is. I'm excited to go on stage, right?
Yeah.
I'm teaming to do this.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do this. right?
Yeah.
And just like to reframe the fear.
Yeah.
And that leads into the other part, I think, which is go for it.
Yeah.
You know, if you feel like you're in a job or you're in a relationship or you're somewhere that doesn't feel like a right fit for you, keep trying.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point in committing years and years of your life to something that doesn't bring you joy and passion? You know, I mean, there are a lot of things that I know I could have done, or I believe I could have done in my life that I would have enjoyed. But I cry at auditions. You know?
Yeah.
You see these kids coming in and how they've changed over the past year and grown. My heart bursts.
Yeah.
You know? And this is my thing. And I wouldn't have known that if I had stayed in the things that were fine.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think it's for everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Right? To start a business.
Yeah.
But I do believe it's for everyone to find something that you love.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. And maybe it's not in a job, you know? But live your life out loud and go for your dreams, because why not?
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, that's so powerful because you're right. You know, I think the way the American dream has shifted, it used to be that, you know, you gotta, you know, as far as living in the middle class, it was buying a home, having a steady job. You know, you only needed one income, right? You know, all those things. And now it's kind of shifted to where if you're not an entrepreneur and you're not starting a business, you know, it's just almost like, you know, there's almost kind of a like, it's like if you're doing any other job, you know, you're kind of in a lot of cases left in the cold, you know? So I think that we do have to shift that, you know, do what makes you happy, you know?
Absolutely.
And if you have a passion and you can monetize it,
right?
You know, you can fill a need in the marketplace or what have you, or invent something, then you should do that.
Right. And if you're feeling judgment from anybody about what it is, right? Whether it's starting your own business or being in a business, being in a company for 20 years and liking it, and that's your place, that's external.
Yeah.
That's everybody else. You really just need to check in with yourself and see what's real to you.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of that, perfect segue, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome. Walked you right there.
Yeah. I needed that. So tell me about the Belasco Theater Company.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I started in this theater company when I was 9 years old called the Belasco Theater Company. So that's kind of where I'm going to go back to. But Jarusha and I had been running I Can Do That for about a year and a half, a little bit more. And we got wind that there was an abandoned theater in Danville.
Yeah.
And we had already seen a need for it.
Yeah, sure.
Because the Village Theater, which we love, and we do all of our productions there, they book out about 18 months in advance.
Yeah.
So they're fully booked.
Yeah.
And although it's a great theater, it's a historic building.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't built to be a theater. It was actually originally, I believe, a Grange Hall.
Okay.
And that means that the costume rooms in the back are really small.
Yeah.
And the wing space on the sides is really small. And we don't have fly space, which means we can't bring backdrops or sets up and down. It just doesn't have that capability.
Sure.
Right. So it's great for sets that stay on the stage and for smaller level productions. And when we had 18 kids in our first show, it was perfect. Yeah. But now we have close to 50 kids.
Yeah.
And we want to be doing productions at a high production value. We're doing Oliver. They should have multiple costume changes, but we don't have the space. We can't even have the costumes back there, and we can't have them all dressing back there because it's too tight. So we'd already seen we needed a bigger space. And so I was talking to the man who was running the Village Theater, and I said, when are we going to redo the Village Theater?
Yeah.
You know? And he said, well, it's a historic building, so that's not going to happen. But check out the abandoned theater. And so we drove by and we realized that there's this huge, gorgeous building. And long story short, it was built 20 years ago for Edward Belasco. the theater director from when I was a child.
Wow.
Yeah, he was going to be the beneficiary of it. So his nonprofit was going to be the leaseholder of that building.
Okay.
So, and then lots of stuff happened, didn't come to fruition. And we realized that they had this stipulation that it had to be run by a children's theater company. So we were interested in taking over that space. Fast forward, here we are now. We now know that that theater is not an option.
Okay.
But over the year of us working on this, we took over the Belasco Theater Company in terms of I am now on the board. I'm the executive director of the Belasco Theater Company, as well as Edward Belasco's daughter, who is a past performer and also a director. She directed children's productions out of Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
And Zay Perrin is on our board. And Lisa Rowland, who's in improv. She's a Stanford-trained improv performer.
Awesome.
And Jarusha Ariel as well. So we got on the board, and over this year, we've realized so many people were coming out of the woodwork about this program and are so pumped about Danville having a state-of-the-art performing arts center.
Yeah.
Right. And so the vision has grown over this year. And what it's become is that we want to have a location as close to downtown Danville as humanly possible, so that when kids get out of school and they don't have much to do with their time and they're all hanging out in boba, which is great. I don't know if you know what boba is.
I know. Yeah.
That's fine. That they can come to the center. We want to have like an open lounge in the front. People can come do homework. People can come grab sandwiches, grab some coffee. And then we have rehearsal rooms throughout the center. So we can have convertible spaces. So we can be holding rehearsals there. It can be dance classes. We can have Pilates classes. We can have art classes, right? We want to have a recording studio in the space. We want to have small rehearsal piano rooms that you could rent every 30 minutes, right?
Wow.
So an arts center.
Yeah.
So a place that's local, so people can walk to it, take classes, hang out in the lounge. But then at the center of this, the gem of it is the theater.
Yeah.
We want to have a large enough theater that has enough space for the dressing rooms and enough wing space for all the sets to be able to have larger scale productions here in Danville. Because now, as residents of Danville, if we want to go see a larger production, we generally go to Walnut Creek or into the city, right? Or we go to Livermore or Pleasanton.
Yeah.
But because we just cannot, we don't have a facility to house those kinds of productions.
Yeah.
But I imagine a world where you can go to the Belasco Performing Arts Center and see a show and go out for dinner and just walk downtown and be in the hub of everything of downtown, right? Yeah, so that's the dream.
Yeah.
And where we are right now is we're in the process of looking for a new location for this theater. So like I said, we're looking on Harts, we're looking up and down Diablo and San Ramon Valley Boulevard, somewhere in walking distance to downtown, so people can easily go out for dinner and go see a show. And the concept is the building will be run by the Belasco Theater Company, and we want it to house so many different types of offerings. We want to have improv there. We want to have live music. We want to have film festivals there. We want to have traveling lecture series there. We want to have adult musical theater performances, adult regular play performances, children's theater. So we want it to be the house of all arts.
Yeah.
Right. And because Danville has a lot of sports, which is amazing for the kids that are into that. But for the kids that aren't, and for the people that aren't, they don't really have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And this could be that spot, and will be that spot.
No, that's amazing. I mean, a lot of that stuff I thought I knew the whole story, but I am so wrong. No, I mean, that's great. I mean, that, for me, when I was in high school, and I shared this with Laura the other day, the audiovisual department was so small,
right?
And it was the late 90s, and that was a crazy time. But yeah, it just wasn't it wasn't accepted, I guess, to be into video, audio, all that type of stuff. And so, but I always wanted to do it.
Right.
But there just wasn't a lot of
opportunity
or encouragement in that particular field. And of course, I wanted to be cool, and I never was. But I was always a nerd, and so, but there wasn't those opportunities for me. And so, there are, especially with YouTube now and the internet and all these different avenues that people can take to be creative, whether it's doing shows on making a TV show on YouTube or doing musical theater or whatever. So the fact that you give, or you're looking to give a space to these kids to create, I mean, that's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's like a playground.
Yeah.
Are you into film?
Yeah.
Are you into music?
Mm-hmm.
Are you into art? Like, what is it that's your thing? This is where you can grow it.
Yeah.
And there's so many things other than being the performer.
Sure.
Right. So of course we'll have opportunities to be on stage, to be in musicals, to be in an improv show, to be in a talent show, whatever it is. But what about running lights?
Yeah.
And moving sets?
Yeah.
And somebody who does all the sound design, right? We need help in the marketing department. These are all areas where we can have internships.
Yeah.
So that after school, the kids that are interested in those sorts of activities can come and get hands-on experience, not theoretical experience, but hands-on in the theater, working the lights in the actual theater.
Yeah.
Right. And that goes on their resume. And there aren't a lot of opportunities like that where they really get their hands dirty into the arts that they love.
No, and that's great. Yeah. And that's, I mean, yeah, like you said, there's so many more avenues, and especially for me being on the film side,
right.
Of course I have a great appreciation for editors and sound designers and set designers and, grips and all that stuff. And so that's a very important aspect of production, is all the behind the scenes work that, a lot of times doesn't get acknowledged. So, and there's a lot of people that love to do that.
Yeah.
So that giving them an option to learn that side of it as well.
Right.
So how can people, first off, what's the website and kind of, what's the website for the Belasco Theater Company?
It's www.belascotheatercompany.com.
Very cool.
And on that site, we talk about the project and what we are looking to create. And that our first step is really to find the location. Okay. So as of today, we're looking for a location with about a 20,000 square foot footprint.
Okay.
And we would, of course, be building up and building down from there. So that's really our first ask. But really, it's just to have an awareness that we exist, that this is in the works. Yeah. And to follow us on Facebook, and you can follow us on Instagram and kind of see, you can be at the ground level of this being created, and also in the in the formation of the idea of it, right? So when we shifted from looking at that other building to now looking for a location, we could really, I'm back at dream state. Yeah. Right? So I can say, okay, if I'm a kid interested in film, what kind of a space would they need for that? Yeah. And then what we want to do is sublet out those spaces to people who run those kinds of programs, right? So if the community knows and has ideas of what they would want to see in the center, this is the time to reach out to us and let us know. Because as we start talking to architects and getting things like down on paper, we want to know what the community wants.
No, and that's great that you pointed that out, because that was my next question, as far as, do you have meetings, and can anybody just come to these meetings, or just kind of sit in, or?
We do. Yeah. We do. So we have our own private meetings, right? Okay. So as we're keeping the ball going and moving quickly. But every second Tuesday of the month at the Danville Area Chamber of Commerce, we take up the conference room space, and it's free for anybody who wants to come and contribute or ask questions or just hear about what's going on with the project where we are. And so if you want to get on our mailer, you can subscribe on our website, and then you'll find out, when those are and what our topics are for each one of our meetings.
Yeah, so I definitely suggest, especially residents of Danville, to check out those meetings, because this could be huge for the town, especially downtown.
Yep.
And really kind of give almost like an anchor destination spot, if you will, for people from outside the town to come in and, like you said, see a show, grab dinner,
Right.
Maybe do some shopping depending on what time it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Exactly. Yeah. Our hope is to have, the building teeming at all times.
Yeah.
Really. There should be things going on every week. There should be things going on in the evenings. And yeah, just a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. So again, what are the dates, or that they can, so it's every second Tuesday?
It's every second Tuesday of the month at, I believe it's at 7 p.m., but you'll have to check the website because I don't remember. 7? I think it's 7. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it's usually for about an hour.
Okay, cool. So they can just check the website.
Yes.
Very cool. So, all right, Shayna, you ready for some movie stuff?
If I said no, does it matter?
No.
No. Okay. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're stuck doing this. Everybody else had to, so you do too. So obviously, I own a video production company. So if I didn't do anything video or movie related, I'd be awful.
Right.
So what is your favorite movie?
It's so hard. How do you write? Okay. I don't know, but one of my favorites is a movie called Across the Universe.
That's the Beatles movie, right?
It's the Beatles movie.
Yeah.
I am a big Beatles fan.
Yeah.
And I love the music, but the storyline, the way that it was pieced together, how they made it modern, and how it was like a dreamland. I just thought it was so beautifully done. Was that Baz Luhrmann? It probably was not. Ugh. Now I'm showing that I don't know anything. I don't know, but I loved it. It's just, to me, it's one of those movies that when I watch it, I'm so fully entranced in it.
Sure. And
for me, the music, just anything with the kind of music that I love. I'm a puddle.
Yeah. No. I mean, I saw that movie a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I know I'm gonna get killed on this, but I'm not that into the Beatles. So
it's fine. We all have flaws.
Yeah, that's a major one for some people apparently. No, I've just never been like super into them. So I think I just kind of watched it. It was like in the background, and every time I would like kind of, oh, okay. But yeah, I wasn't, but yeah, that's great though.
Yeah. For me, just the music of it all heightens it. I mean, even just, did you see A Star is Born?
No, I've not seen that. Yeah.
Good God, boy.
Yeah.
Must go. I will take you after. Right. For like, I haven't seen the Bohemian Rhapsody movie.
Yeah.
Star is Born. But all of for me, I mean, I'm so musically centered that when the movie has that background, for me, it's like my soul is just ripped open. It's just like I'm just alive.
Yeah.
So those are the movies that I'm usually drawn to.
Well, you brought up a sad point. So my buddy Jason and I are working on another, just kind of a side fun project about it's a movie podcast, and he wanted to do a like top 5 Oscar snubs, and I just was like, you know what, I haven't seen like a movie in the theater for a long time. And he goes, okay, first rule of having a movie podcast is you have to watch movies.
Like many of them.
Yeah. And
right.
I told him, I was like, from early 90s up until like a year ago, I was like on top of everything.
Right.
Like the last year's been pretty hectic. And
yes.
so I have to catch up, and I have to stop falling asleep to The Office on Netflix.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'll do a plug for The Lot. Have you heard of The Lot?
No.
So it's a new shopping center in San Ramon.
Okay.
Off of Bollinger, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's like a rectangular shaped shopping center with like a play area in the bottom, but they have movies, and it's the kind of movie theater where you can go in and like lay down and like press your little button, and they come and take your order for food.
Oh wow.
And you could just hang out. So we have been known at the I Can Do That Theater Company to leave at like a random Tuesday at 1 and just go see a movie before rehearsal.
Oh, very cool. That's probably it probably is like somewhat relaxing.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that kind of maybe takes the stress down just a little bit until you get into the theater, right?
It's until I get into the theater. What do you mean?
Well, like if you're watching it before rehearsal, yeah, and then as soon as you walk in, you're like, oh yeah, this.
No, like going back to rehearsal.
Yeah.
No, I love it because then I get to talk to the kids about what we just saw, and they're excited.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. No, but it's pretty cool. So if you ever want to join us,
Yeah.
we you got to start seeing movies. There's some great ones out right now.
Yeah. No, I definitely I got a list a mile long, and I think anybody who has a Netflix queue, they just keep adding to it and adding to it.
Yes.
So eventually I'll get some time where I can start kind of checking some off the list. But,
yeah.
So very cool. I'll have to go back and watch Across the Universe and see if I grew up.
If it's your thing or not.
Yeah, well, this was because when did that come out? Like late 90s, early 2000 or something?
Probably.
Yeah, so
yeah, easily 2000, not in the 90s, but I'd have to check.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of dumb movies back then, I'm sure. So if a movie was made about your life, who would play you?
That's weird. I mean, I don't know. That's so hard. Also because I believe in actors. So how do you pick one actor? Because they should be able to take on a role, whatever it is. But I love Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah. No, she's great.
She's cool.
Yeah.
I like her. I also, Felicity Jones is really cool.
Yes.
I just saw her in The Basis of Sex.
Okay.
About Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
And she was amazing.
Yeah.
I guess what I would want in a woman to be me, if I'd be so bold, is someone who could be positive, powerful, and joyful.
Yeah. Yeah. Felicity Jones is fantastic. She was also in, this is me being, she was in the, the
Stephen Hawking's movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that movie, but she was incredible.
Yeah, she was.
As was he, obviously.
Yeah, and then Zay and I were geeking out about Star Wars, and she was in Rogue One, and she was amazing in that too.
Oh, yeah. I have not seen like any of those, so sorry. I can't.
Yeah. So you have Across the Universe, and we have Star Wars. So
there you go.
We'll have to both watch each other's movies.
We'll have a viewing.
Yeah. So we'll end on this before we wrap up. So I put everybody else through a little trivia game, movie quotes. So just so we know what's at stake, I have 3 cards. For each one you get right, you get a $5 gift card to Pete's.
I need the caffeine in my life. Let's do this.
So it's okay if you don't get them.
Okay.
These are kind of like, I don't know. Some people watch movies and they absorb all the quotes, and some people just watch the movies and they move on with their life.
Right.
And they have better things to do.
Huh.
So we'll see.
Which one I am. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you're going to need a bigger boat.
Is that Jaws?
Is that your final answer?
No, it's not. I'm going to need a bigger boat. I mean, I know that that's like an important quote from...
Maybe go with your instinct.
Jaws.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Yes, me.
Good job. $5. There you go. That could get you like a lid at pizza.
Could I just smell the cinnamon?
Yeah. All right. Let's see. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
I don't watch those movies. Man, I don't know. I am so wrong. I'm going to say Godfather because I have no idea. I have no concept.
Kind of in that same realm. We're close. Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen it.
Oh, no, that's okay. You should see it. It's great.
Okay.
But
I know. It's on a list of other movies I probably will never see.
I know.
As I watch musicals.
Right. Well, yeah, like I was talking about the Netflix queue. My Netflix queue spans like 10 years.
It's crazy.
So imagine all the movies I have not watched.
You'll get through it.
Because all the new ones come out. You watch those instead because you want to see those.
Right.
All right. Last one.
Okay.
I got $5 so far.
All right.
Yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
Did Laura and Zay get these?
Zay got them all.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Read it again, please.
Sure. Will that make a difference?
No, it's just buying me time.
Yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
I'm gonna go with the SpongeBob movie because I'm totally clueless. I have no concept.
Crazy, you were close. Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Yeah,
that makes
one.
sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I watched that movie like this, so with my thumbs and my ears and my hands over my eyes. So that's my excuse for not knowing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the, like I said, some of these, I thought it'd be fun to just do the same ones for those of you that we're filming in February, and just see who gets what.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was known in high school for memorizing like every episode of The Simpsons and all these other movies, and so.
I could do. I could quote some Simpsons for you.
Okay.
I mean, one of my favorites is when they're all on the school bus and they're like throwing fruit down the aisle as they're moving, and they're like, "Go apple, go orange," and then Ralphie's like, "Go banana." That's like my favorite. Yeah. There's so many.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Oh, I have a great one.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's the spirit, little girl. I'm a boy. Oh, no, I just messed it up. Because he goes, that's the spirit. I forgot it.
But, you're talking about Ralph Wiggum, though.
Yes.
Yes. No, Ralph Wiggum is amazing.
He's kind of my favorite.
Yeah, we'll have to do, you know what? Next time you're on, I'll do Simpsons quotes.
Okay.
That'll be fair. Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
That'll be good. I like that.
In fact, you could bring some of your own, and then
I will. I'll actually I can prepare for that. Yeah, I'll rehearse.
Well, cool. So, Shayna, I just have to thank you so much for being on. I mean, I think the one of the biggest thing I've noticed, besides all the great work that you do with your kids, is that when I come back around, whether I visit your guys' office or your studio, or I see set photos from the plays or whatever, is you have a lot of the same kids. That have been coming for like a long time.
We do. So
that says a lot about you guys, and you and Jarusha, and it says a lot about just the atmosphere you've created. And so, I mean, I think that you should be really proud of that. And, that just says a lot about you and Jarusha and the kind of company that you run.
Thank you. That really means the world to me. And thank you for this opportunity. This has been amazing. And what a cool thing to be grabbing all these stories of all these people in this town and growing our communities so we can meet more interesting people. So thank you for the chance to do this.
Yes, definitely. Great. So website for I Can Do That Theater is
ICanDoThatTheater.com.
Very cool. And then once again for the Belasco Theater Company,
BelascoTheaterCompany.com.
Very cool. And then also find your companies on Facebook and Instagram.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially if you're into to kid productions, or if you know of kids that are into performing in any way.
Yeah.
We have 5 productions a year. We have classes year round. We have camps going on all the time. So there's always something to get involved in. And a great way to look around is to go to Facebook, because they can see a lot of our videos from past shows and really get a sense of what it is that we're producing.
Very cool. Oh, I think that's it.
Great.
Yeah. Very cool.
Thanks,
so again, thank you so much for being on, Shayna. And thank you to those listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like Rodda Films, the Facebook page for more podcasts. And thank you for listening. Thanks Shayna.
Thanks,
yeah.
Barrett.